Niners who will do worse than last season. 3 of them. You go first. I'll go second.
Okay. Trent Williams.
Trent
I'll
Williams.
say why.
Mm-hmm.
Iggy, he's old. I mean, he's a great player and he seems to be quite a nice man. So this is nothing personal. He misses games. When he misses games, they're up the creek because he's that good and that important. I expect him only to miss more games and to be hurt a little more. I think, although he's so essential to that team, he's on the downward slope now. So I think he will be more vulnerable and they'll have to patch together that left side of that line more than they have in the past. Do I seem harsh in what I'm saying?
It seems realistic. He's 36 and he's been missing a couple games a year since he was 25. It's going to happen eventually. It happened to Eric Armstead and he was 30. So, yeah, I mean, eventually it's the injury with Trent Williams isn't going to be a high ankle sprain. It's going to be like something chronic, plantar fasciitis or whatever, tendonitis. And it's going to linger, and it's going to, even when he's healthy and on the field, it's bothering him. It's either going to be this year or next year. I mean, Joe Staley didn't make it this long. So, yeah, I mean, the odds are it's going to be Trent. And if it is, they're in trouble.
Yeah. And I want to be very clear, Trent, he probably won't watch this, but someone will say, did you hear what Grant said about you? We really admire you. We hope you do well. It's nothing like that. And we're saying you're a great player, a Hall of Fame player. We just honestly think that you're a little more vulnerable and you may not play as many games. And take it for what it's worth.
Yeah. Okay. Another
You.
one. I'll go. The wide receiver who doesn't like his contract and wants a new deal.
I want to say something right here. We promised Nan, who was one of our greatest, most faithful viewers, that we wouldn't mention that name. So this is the name that cannot be mentioned.
Yeah.
Because I
We're not
promised.
talking about him directly. He's just fits the criteria.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Number 11. We'll call him number 11.
Yeah. Yeah, the wide receiver. He is unhappy. He's not in camp. Last year, to me, could have been an aberration. It was by far his best year. He averaged almost 18 yards a catch. He never did anything close to that earlier in his career. And now he's going to have an abbreviated or no offseason. I think he's coming back to earth and having a good, not great season.
I agree with you. And I would add, he's not thinking about football.
No.
He's thinking about a lot of other things: money, posture, getting over on the team, establishing a national profile, perhaps how he's viewed by other teams. There's a lot going on in that young mind, and I don't think it's helpful. I don't think Bosa ever went through that. He was quiet. They worked it out. He came and he played. Not as well as he should have, but he came and he played. I think this kid, number 11, is in for a bit of a surprise.
Agree. Okay. How about a third one? 49.
Well, I do have a 49er, not a player.
Okay.
I feel Kyle Shanahan will not have as good a season coming up as he did last season. Oh, Lowell is a Kyle hater, blah, blah. I'm not a Kyle hater. I never met the guy. Chances are I'd be charmed by him. But he went to the Super Bowl last season. It's very hard to lose it and go back to the Super Bowl. Iggy, hasn't that been your experience?
Absolutely. I look at the Eagles last year. They lost the Super Bowl and they started off very good. And then they lost 6 of their last 7 games and completely collapsed. Happens.
Yeah, and that's a good outfit with a good coaching staff.
Yes.
So
yes. Now the Chiefs lost the Super Bowl and then didn't make the Super Bowl the next year either.
Yeah, it's hard to do. There's a lingering, and I think it's a lingering loss of faith in each other and in the coach. um, a lingering, "Oh my god, is this gonna happen again? Oh my god, do we have to work this hard and still not do it again?" I think it's hard. So I think Kyle, oh, he'll make the playoffs. I mean, there's no question about that. It'll be hard to go back to the Super Bowl. So he's my third 49er who will have a worse season now than last season.
I love the way you put that. A lingering loss of faith in the coach and each other.
Yes.
Like the Lions don't have that yet because they're still an up and coming team that's improving. But if they get to the Super Bowl and lose, they'll have the same feeling.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
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 Iggy, didn't tell me about the Rams. Have they gone to a Super Bowl and lost? And did they
They
win the
did. They went
next
to a
year?
Super Bowl with Jared Goff and lost and took a major step back and had to get a new quarterback. And then they went to
Right.
Super Bowl and won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's very
It is
hard.
Yeah. I think the only teams that have done it or they were teams from like the 70s. The Dolphins and the Cowboys did it in the early 70s.
Now the Niners in their earlier phase never had to do it because they always won the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Yeah, but even the Niners, I mean, they won the Super Bowl in 81 and didn't go back in 82. They won the Super Bowl in 84 and didn't go back in 85. It's not easy to do.
Not easy to do.
No, they
There's
won it in
and
94 and
there's a
didn't go back
lot
in
of
95.
there's a lot of talented teams in the NFC. And Iggy, let's name a few. I'm not saying they're better than the 49ers, but they can challenge them. The Rams, Green Bay,
Detroit,
Detroit,
Philly,
Philly for sure.
those ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there could be some other team that improves. I mean, a lot of times there's one team that improves quickly in the NFL. So,
yeah,
those are the groups. Those are the teams.
I think
and
it'll
like
be the Chargers, but they're in the AFC.
Sure. With Kyle, like as good as he is, as good as the team is, it took them 4 years to get back to the Super Bowl after they lost the first time.
Yeah.
A lot, and to make it to the Super Bowl last year, they had to come from 17 down in the second half against the Lions. That one long pass had to hit that Lions DB in the face and then bounce off his face into Ayuk's hands. Like a lot had to go their way just to make it to the Super Bowl. We'll see if it goes their way this year.
And Iggy, Jim Harbaugh, who was a hell of a coach, he never made it back. No, it's very hard.
Pete Carroll lost that Super Bowl and then never made it back.
You know, Pete was interesting. He lost that Super Bowl, and every year he seemed to decline.
Yep.
He became a less than mediocre coach.
Mm-hmm.
By the end, he was a gum chewing clown on the sideline.
Well put.
He
10
was.
years ago, he seemed like the best coach in the league.
Yeah.
Yeah. Better than Harbaugh. Now it's like not even close.
It's interesting how Belichick and Pete Carroll, no one wants to go near them.
No. Goodbye.
It's like your era is over. It's
Yeah.
for younger people now.
Yeah. Your sell-by date is past.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know who's no longer a young coach? Kyle.
How old is he?
44. He's right in the middle. Kind of interesting.